For those of you that weren't here, she shared just briefly about her sister's recent battle with sort of some very chronic mental health problems and anxiety and depression. And I think people are of the opinion that when you're a Christian, you don't have those sort of struggles, and you shouldn't have those sort of struggles, but they're all too common. And I just want to sort of speak out briefly tonight and share with you a little bit of my story. A few of you will know it. I battled with a very bad mental health problem after I got divorced a fair few years ago now. And I slowly over a period of years, and I'll condense it because it's really quite long, but I plummeted. I went down and down and down. I was away from the Lord at the time. I was struggling on my own as a single parent. And that was a time that was really, I call it my wilderness years, because it really was. I was wandering around in a dreadful plight, really, struggling on, as she was saying this morning, you know, trying to hold down 3 jobs at the time, being mom to 2 children on my own. And it was a real struggle, and I always felt that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't doing well enough, and that, you know, I was just flailing around, really. Over a period of time, I went to the doctors, and I was on all manner of antidepressants. I ended up on one quite familiar called Prozac, and it's been in the press quite a bit. I was on the highest dose you could be on out of hospital. And the only reason that they would let me on that dose was on the condition that I rang my GP every morning to tell them that I was okay. And I was on that for a while. As I say, I was away from God, and I was on that for a very long time, a period of 8 or 9 months. Over that time, I came back to God, I came back to the church, and you know, and God started a real work in me. And this is a message of hope, and it's a message of deliverance, really, because over that period of time, still on the tablets, I met up with a girl called Elaine Roberts, who used to come and preach at our church quite a bit. I went on a women's conference with her, and I was delivered. That's the only word I can say, of depression and anxiety. And the reason was that I went away in a flip that weekend, and I can remember it like it was yesterday. I was trying to get the kids ready to go to their dads, and I was meant to be at a certain place at a certain time, always running late as I was. And I forgot my medication. I ended up in Northampton, got to my hotel room, sat down to pray, and suddenly I realised that I'd forgotten my tablets, and I thought, Lord, how on earth am I going to get through this weekend? Because I knew that without them, I would be a wreck. I was literally on the floor. And I just felt him say, just trust. Just trust. And I went, and slowly, over that weekend, and you know, I can share sort of more at another time, but God just became an all-in-all presence to me. He clothed me with robes of white, and sent me out delivered, and I haven't had a tablet from that day to this. So, you know, I am living proof that depression is real, and anxiety is an illness. Don't let anybody ever tell you that it isn't. It's not in your head. It's not something that you can pull yourself out of. Okay, only God really can pull you out of that, but He can, and He does. Okay, so if anybody here is struggling with issues like that and feel that, you know, you're really struggling, I just really impress on you today to think and believe and to lean and to live it, because it can happen.
Really, because a lot of people probably see someone who's been strong, and in our household very much, you know, seem to be the heart of the family. Moms often are. But I went through depression in my teens, and to a point where I did try to take my life. My parents never knew about it, but there were spiritual attacks as well. What had happened was, before I went away to university, we were on a spiritual high. The youth were on fire for God. They were operating, flowing in the Spirit. And when I went away, I'd never been, you know, back at home. I'd always been brought up in the takeaway. I had no social skills, probably still don't have now, but a bit better. But I didn't know how to handle my time. I didn't know how to behave socially. I'm culturally mixed, although I'm full Chinese. you know, I'm not full Chinese in my culture, but then I'm not full British in my culture either. So the enemy took that opportunity to attack. And, you know, it wasn't just a mental oppression, it was a spiritual oppression as well, to the point where I just wanted to die. And I felt that I'd let God down. You know, like Esther said this morning, you know, letting you down, Lord, I'm such a failure. But anyway, basically, the Lord delivered me from that. And then subsequent years, I went through bulimia, where it wasn't rare to just vomit 7-8 times a day. You know, I got so good at it, you don't need to stick your finger down your throat. But, do you know, I could feel the line in my stomach going, I could feel my teeth suffering. But it got to a point where I thought, I just don't know where I'm going to go with this, Lord. And one day, again, the suddenlies. Suddenly, the Lord, I just knew on a practical level, God said, if you don't vomit, you can't keep putting the food down. And you know, I didn't. I didn't vomit, and it stopped. And God healed my stomach, because I used to have stomach pains, and I've never suffered from it since. Again, our God is a God of miracles. And when you're at your wits' ends, and there's nobody else that can help you, only the Lord can deliver. And glory to God, likewise, we have to give him the glory. He delivered me too.